welcome back to another episode of Into the 99, where we've got 99 cards, because Commander's number one. I am one of your hosts, Daniel. I am joined today with both Brian and Slothy. Brian, how are you doing?
Oh, not bad. We had some wonderful games last night.
We did get a ton of games in last night.
And
nice,
actually,
nice
with
5-hour stream, yeah.
Yeah, and with that, I actually do want to say, I know they're not patrons, they don't get the shout out, but thanks to Knights of Bawa and Saga Genesis for typically always being in our stream chats.
Yeah, they do make it entertaining. I like when they come and say, kill Brian. It's very fun.
Or tell Brian to complete everyone.
Yeah. No, they were really fun games last night. We got lots in. Also, while we're giving thank yous, it is nice to say thanks to Greg and Logan and Alex and stuff. They come out, they help out stream lots. So
they do.
Stop in the YouTube. Tell them hello. I'm sure they check the videos out.
Tell Greg to build different decks.
Yeah, tell Greg to play faster in the comments. All right, Slothy, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Did quite a bit of deck building this week. Been nice and relaxing.
It's good to hear.
Yeah.
Nothing too crazy.
Nope. Built another stacks deck, so
that's fair. Monsters. Yeah, no, the week was pretty good. I ended up working basically an extra day, so I'm tired this week. I'm going right to bed after this pretty much.
Oh yeah, I'm exhausted this morning too.
Yeah, we played fairly late last night, and if the cameras were still going, we probably would have played later.
Yeah, I would have. And then I would have been like, sorry, I can't podcast, guys. I'm sick.
I'm sick.
The Ben Stiller cough.
Yeah. I love that movie. Today we're talking Elesh Norn, the deck I said we weren't going to do, but here we are doing it. Yeah. This has just been one of the most fun decks I've built in a while.
You're a hurtful person, in all honesty.
One. I'm dying over here. Okay. I'm not a hurtful person. Elesh Norn is just a blast. It's just been consistently fun in every one of the games that I've played. I've had a great time with it. It's it's full of really silly interactions. Lots of them are going to be the interactions everyone sees all the time because there's just certain things that are good, right? But it is really fun to see it shut other people's stuff off. Like Greg last night in the game tried to play like a Black Vice. When it enters, you choose an opponent. He didn't get to choose one. That's hilarious.
Yeah, that was because I knew it was going to be me, all honesty.
Right?
So I was very happy about that.
Yeah, just this new Elesh Norn, I don't think it's overly powerful. Like the deck performs well, but like I don't think it's a crazy deck that's just like steamrolling the tape. It's mono white and it's a 5-cost commander.
Choo choo.
Right? For anyone who doesn't know, and first off, this is the best artwork of Elesh Norn.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. The complete version.
Don't say it.
Oh, the Wednesday dance?
Yeah. Oh, it's the Wednesday dance. It's not the Wednesday dance, Brian.
I already said it in pre-recording, so we're fine. I got it.
At this point, I'm convinced you don't know who Wednesday is.
But I know the dance, yo.
Apparently. So the card that the command zone thought was that's funny. The card the command not command zone, the rules committee thought should be banned on the get-go is a 4/7 at 4 and 1 white with vigilance. If a permanent entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, it triggers an additional time. And permanents entering don't cause abilities of permanents your opponents control to trigger. So it's doubling up our stuff. It's shutting their stuff off. But if their stuff entering causes our stuff to trigger, it triggers an addition. Yeah, Brian's seen. I've played this one
twice,
actually a bunch of times already. Brian's seen it in 2 games, and yeah, I think
you won both.
Yeah.
Last night I just couldn't. I was able to dispatch the other 2 players, but I wasn't. The amount of life that Daniel was gaining at that point in time, we got him down to I think 20 from 60 something, and then
went right back up.
And then he went right back up. Basically, what was happening was there's two Teferi's puzzle boxes on with Nekusar and another card that for every draw.
Yeah. Every draw is taking 2 damage. And then I had to draw 5 additional after the 2 Teferi's puzzle box.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was
down,
10 cards. So you're taking
Yeah.
20 damage for every for each pitch.
Yeah, I had a lot of life. This there's a lot of stuff in here that inadvertently just gains you a ton of life. Let's start with our artifacts. They're pretty simple. Like we've got, I say pretty simple, but they're not as simple as I'm making it out to be. There's some things you should replace probably. This is one of my favorite decks that I've built. This is not a budget deck, so there's some things you can do some cuts on. Number 1, we got Arcane Signet.
$772 just in artifacts.
Don't even worry about that. So we've got an Arcane Signet. We need all the ramp we can get, kind of thing. Like we're in mono white, we gotta get what we can get. 2 mana. You add 1 mana of any color in your commander's identity. So add a white.
Yeah.
Arcane Signet's just a better.
Seems so good.
Yeah, it's a better. What's the diamond? It's not Sky Diamond.
Marble Diamond.
Yeah, just a better Marble Diamond in this deck. Just an untapped Marble Diamond.
Yeah.
Next up here, we got the Chrome Mox, 0 drop and imprint. When Chrome Mox enters the battlefield, you may exile a non-artifact, non-land card from your hand. Tap to add 1 mana of any color of the exiled card's colors.
Fun fact is we could technically do this twice. Because it's an enters ability.
You could.
But would you want to?
If we were in a different color deck where we wanted to do 2 colors, yes.
Oh, now I understand that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's neat, actually.
Yeah. But, it's neither here nor there.
Yeah, next up we got some Conjurer's Closet, 5 mana. At the beginning of your end step, you may exile target creature you control, then return that card to the battlefield under your control.
It's like a Blink staple. It puts a lot of work in every time in any deck like this.
The art reminds me of like, the Outer Limits. You are now entering the Outer Limits.
True.
Mm.
The next card, I'm not mature enough to ever say its name the right way. Every time I draw it and play it, I yell Golden Argosy. It's who I am as a person. Yeah. But it's 4 mana. It's a very cool Blink thing. It's a legendary artifact vehicle. It's a 3/6. Whenever it attacks, you exile each creature that crewed at this turn, return them to the battlefield tapped under their owner's control at the beginning of the next end step, and it's a crew for 1. So it's really, really easy to just like full reset your board kind of thing. You can maybe politics your way around someone letting you take letting you get 3 damage through so you don't lose it, but you're probably not going to.
No, not after the degenerateness that you're doing with your commander.
They're probably gonna get pretty fed up pretty quickly with your Blink shenanigans. So, so you're probably not. This deck's gonna get a lot less politics. For anyone who watches the YouTube videos, that's what this week's episode is gonna be. It's the first game we streamed last night, so that's what this one will be, and you'll be able to see I really downplay what's going on until I have Elesh Norn in play. I just sit there and I'm very quiet in the game. I'm just, it's okay. And then Elesh Norn hits the battlefield, and then I got a real change in my demeanor after that. So
you might as well take that next card too there, Dan, as that one put in work there for you last night.
This is like a really, really cool card. This is from the, I believe it's from the new Capenna kind of stuff. Like the new Capenna Commander, I think. Either way, Mirror of Life Trapping, it's a 4 mana artifact. Whenever a creature enters, if it was cast, exile it, then return all other permanent cards exiled with it under their owner's control. This is just great because it's gonna, every time we bring something out, it's going to trigger their enter the battlefield effect, and then it's gonna move them under the mirror, and it's gonna get another secondary trigger. So like for ease sake, let's say that we had a Panharmommycon that was gonna, or not a Panharmommycon, a Pilgrim's Eye that was gonna enter. Pilgrim's Eye gets us a land. It enters, it goes under the Mirror of Life Trapping, and then the next time another creature enters, it's going to come back out. So it's another pseudo Panharmommycon in a weird way.
But if you have Norn out, though, it's I get 2 triggers, it goes under, and then comes back, and I get 2 more triggers.
Yeah. So yeah, it's it really puts in a lot of work. Like this deck runs like the Soul Sisters kind of thing, right? So every time anyone's creature enters, for instance, right? If I have just like a Soul Warden, Elesh Norn, and Mirror of Life trapping out, your creature's going to enter. I'm going to gain 2 life. Then whatever's under the mirror is going to come back in. I'm going to gain 2 more life. It's it really helps out a lot of ETBs because again, this Elesh Norn still triggers like our permanents, right? So they are not immune to losing their creature to the mirror. And a very funny thing is if someone does their commander under this and the mirror goes away, it is exiled under the mirror.
He actually threatened us with that.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, it is a fun way that you can possibly get your commander stuck under that mirror, and you don't want that.
Yeah, no, I did not want that. But next up, we have I
Nice
see where
budget
like the $700 comes from. We have Mox Diamond. 0 cost when Mox Diamond and comes into play. Choose and discard a land card or sacrifice Mox Diamond. Tap 1. Add 1 mana of any color of your mana pool. Play this ability as a mana source.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, good card.
I wish I had money.
Next up, we got Nyx Lotus, 4 mana for a legendary artifact. It enters the battlefield tapped. You can tap it to choose a color and add an amount of mana of that color equal to your devotion to that color.
Yeah, we've got a ton of white pips in this deck.
Mm-hmm.
We're very creature heavy. We'll end with creatures, but yeah, we're really creature heavy in this deck. So Nyx Lotus is going to get us a lot going.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have Oketra's Monument simply because Pearl Medallion is just too pricey right now. I say with a Mox Diamond, but I'm just not going to buy. I'm just not going to buy another one. Oketra's Monument, yeah, they're all in other decks. It is a 3 mana. White creatures are 1 less to cast. Whenever you cast a white creature, you get a 1/1 white warrior creature token with vigilance. We don't care as much for that one, but like it's
extra blockers though.
Yeah, it's not the 1/1 thing is just it's incidental. We've got so many creatures, like I said, that reduction is really going to help us out.
If you did have an Anointed Procession in here, token enters and triggers Oketra. Or sorry, triggers Anointed Procession. Norn would then trigger the Anointed Procession again, correct? And double it again? No.
If it was from an enter.
Yeah, okay.
Like if you did, like just for argument's sake, like a Avenger of Zendikar, that's an enter the battlefield token creation, so it would double up.
Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah. Now I got it.
I also have to talk about the next card in the deck too, because
by all means.
Yeah, of course. It's Panharmommycon. You literally it'd be criminal to build an Elesh Norn deck without putting in Panharmommycon. One of the funniest descriptions I've ever heard of this card was someone calling it Panharmommycon. I think that's just like hilarious. It's so good. Yeah, Panharmommycon, a 4 mana artifact. If an artifact or creature entering causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, it triggers an additional time. It's great. It really does work for us.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not much to say about it. It's just phenomenal.
Yeah, Panharmommycon, and it's always just been beautiful artwork. Like I love the playlist, or not the playlist, the flavor text on it. All who listen hear their own song, a melody, unique melody played just for them. I love Panharmommycon. I always have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's actually I really like the the Double Masters art.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some definitely cool stuff with Panharmommycon. There's some cool other versions, but I've just always loved this big church organ looking thing.
Yeah.
Well, that's because you're a music person.
True.
So the next card we have here is the Phyrexian Atlas. Which tier do you live on? 3 colorless, and you can tap it, add 1 mana of any color. If you have the Corrupted, whenever Phyrexian Atlas becomes tapped, each opponent who has 3 or more poison counters loses 1 life. And now I'm realizing, what am I doing not putting this in my poison decks?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
The Corrupted thing's good. This one's in here for flavor. You could put like a Command Sphere and probably be better because we're not really running poison counters. But
yeah,
I just, I love like the Sons of Mirrodin in the background. I love the big Elesh Norn-esque top layer. It's
Mm-hmm.
Your home.
Yeah, exactly. You get it.
Next up, we got Portable Hole. Single white. When Portable Hole enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent an opponent controls with mana value 2 or less until Portable Hole leaves the battlefield.
Damn.
They fall for it every time.
Yeah, I actually really enjoy this one. It's really, really good for catching those early mana rocks if you've got it in your hand. And then the same thing with Elesh Norn. Now we're seeing more and more efficient commanders, a lot of 2 mana stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times we're going to play 1 mana, hit at least 2 permanents, like a mana rock and possibly someone's commander with it. It's really, really doing great stuff.
Yeah.
We've also got a Soul Ring in the deck because, we need ramp.
And then obviously to make sure that we do have protection, we got the Swifties.
Yeah, your protection can't just be threats of violence in this one. You're in mono white. You don't have as much retaliation.
You could always
threats
use
of violence are always a valid win con.
It's true. Let's go all the way to the bottom here, Brian, and we'll do our sorceries.
Instance. Land sorceries. Here we go.
I'll let Slothy start us off on them.
Sure. So we got Ascend from Avernus, X triple white. Return all creature and planeswalker cards with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, and then exile Ascend from Avernus.
That's a very big problem in an all ETB deck.
Yep.
No, they exile at the end step shenanigans. No anything. Just if you board wipe me and all these things come back, like the deck's it has like 1 card at 7, everything's 6 or less, but even at 5, you're hitting like I think 30 plus creatures in this deck. It's probably
I was just looking at your creatures. You don't have to pay a lot extra into this.
No, even casting it as a 5-drop and getting your 2s and 1s back would be
that's still a lot.
We've also got a Flicker. It is 1 and a white. You remove target non-token permanent from the game, then return it to play under its owner's control.
Good card.
Just a nice extra bounce thing.
Who is truer, you who are, or you who are to be?
Yeah, right.
Some deep stuff. And then we have Storm of Souls, 4 and 2 white. Return all creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Each of them is a 1/1 spirit with flying in addition to its other types. Exile Storm of Souls.
First off, normally this is kind of a downside because everything becomes a 1/1, but there's no leaves the battlefield, exile them instead things on it. There's no like seance like trigger where it's a token copy of them. These are just the cards. And all we have to do is rebounce the cards to have them back in their like full glory. And that's all this deck does. The whole point of this deck is to bounce. So this is great. And I really, really like the flavor text on it in just beside Elesh Norn with devotion does not end with death.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty. I like
pretty
that.
Heavy metal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like it. It's also interesting that you can technically get a giant board of them all back as flyers, which is also fun.
Gross. I didn't even consider that.
Yeah. For lands, the only land in it that's any different whatsoever is Emeria. Emeria the Skyrune. It enters tapped. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 7 or more planes, you can return target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. If you're running an all planes deck, there's almost no reason to not run it ever. If you have it, it's like a $25 card or something like that. So,
in all honesty, I thought you were going to say Tabernacle because you're a bad person.
not in a deck with this many creatures. No Tabernacle. Let's hit our enchantments, and I'll let Slothy start us off again on those.
Sure. So our first enchantment, we've got Banishment, 3 and a white. It's got Flash, and when Banishment enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent an opponent controls with all other permanents your opponents control with the same name as that permanent until Banishment leaves the battlefield.
Yeah. It's I really like the ability to just wipe the board of tokens. It's also really, really fun to do on like treasure tokens. So many people have so many treasure tokens all the time, and making them have to blow them in the upkeep is hilarious.
You're a hurtful person.
Too many treasure tokens.
Yeah, I know. That's a lot these days.
Yeah, like I just, again, usually with like an Elesh Norn kind of thing out, we're going to really be like doubling this trigger up. So it's really like exile all copies of 2 permanents.
Yeah.
Or 3 if you got the Panharmommycon in there as well.
Nah, Panharmommicon's only our creatures, so we sadly don't get it for our enchantments.
Got you, yes.
Womp womp.
I think that'd be insane.
The first version of this deck had a Helm of the Host in it, and every time I got Helm of the Host, I was like, nah, this is just too pricey to pay for this. Like, it really does a lot of work. Like, having triple triggers is a lot already.
Yeah.
So, we've got Conclave. I got this one here. Conclave Tribunal. 3 and a white. It has Convoke, so a lot of times it's just free because we're just blinking our field after it anyways. When Conclave Tribunal enters, exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls until it leaves.
Yeah.
Again, lots of double exiles. Because again, if this read exile 2 non-land permanents when it enters at 4 mana, this would be like a tier 1 card.
100%.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Ossification, 1 and a white. Enchant basic land you control. When Ossification enters the battlefield, exile target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls until Ossification leaves the battlefield.
Yep.
Yeah.
The flavor text on that one, Brian?
Only Elesh Norn's most loyal servants are granted the honor of becoming part of her throne.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next up, we got Static Net. 3 and a white. When it enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls until Static Net leaves the battlefield. And when Static Net leaves the battlefield, enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life and create a tapped Power Stone token.
Yeah. We get double tokens, double life gain, double exile, all at 4 mana.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't really use the Power Stones for anything, but that's okay.
No.
A card that already desperately needs a reprint is Teleportation Circle. You can never find these things anywhere. It's I love this card. It's 3 and a white. Beginning of your end step, exile up to 1 target artifact or creature you control, then return them to the battlefield under its owner's control. I love this card.
Hold on to your lunch.
Yeah, Bartleby.
Amazing. Then we have Takasia's Welcome, 2 and a white. Whenever 1 or more creature with mana value 3 or less enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn.
I'm still not sure how that one works with Elesh Norn. Because if it triggers an additional time, but this says it only triggers 1 time. I don't know.
I think it would only trigger just the
first,
once.
Yeah.
I'll look that up.
I think there's a rule where if something says it only does once, but something also says it does multiple times, it only does once. I think.
Let me see something here. There's definitely already something. Yeah, no, exactly what you said. An ability says triggers only once each turn, can trigger no more than once each turn, even if it would otherwise be forced to trigger by other things. Okay, all right. No double draw with Tokasia's, but still solid. We've got a lot of creatures 3 or less, so again, just having that built-in draw at 3 mana is not going to hurt us.
No, any draw is good draw.
Exactly.
And then we have our entire lack of removal section here.
The instance?
Yeah.
You hurt me.
Yeah, we have, technically it's all removal. It's just removal for our own creatures.
Or protection, all depending upon how you look at it.
True, it's offense and defense. We've got, by the way, if somebody plays like a Containment Priest in this deck, it's time to just pick up and leave. You say thank you for the game and move to another table. Acrobatic Maneuver is our first one. It's 2 and a white. Exile target creature you control, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. You draw a card.
Yep.
Then we have Cloud Shift, 1 white, exile target creature you control, then return to the battlefield. Return that card to the battlefield under your control. Again, I'm seeing a theme.
Solid 1-drop.
There's a lot of cards in this that bring things back at the end step, which is great protection.
Mhm.
But these ones are the really offensive ones because they'll come right back on that spell's resolution. And there's some problem things that you don't want me to flicker, especially if you're in the middle of trying to kill it.
Mhm.
I know exactly what we're talking about.
Yep.
We've got Eerie Interlude, 2 and a white. Exile any number of target creatures you control. Return those cards to the battlefield under their owner's control at the beginning of the next end step.
Yeah, so like this is how we save us from like a board wipe kind of thing.
Mhm.
We are going to be open to attack during that time, but again, it's better than losing our field.
Yeah, exactly.
We've also got Ephemerate. It's a 1-mana instant, exile target creature you control, then return to the battlefield under its owner's control, also with rebound. So that's a great 1-drop. It's going to get us 2 blanks on 1. 2 generally very big ETBs are going to come from it.
Yep.
Next up, we have Flicker of Fate, which is 1 and a white. Exile target creature or enchantment, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. Looks very comic book-esque here.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's not the one I have. That's the Jumpstart one.
Yeah.
There. I've put things back to where they should be.
That art's pretty cool, actually. I like that.
Mhm.
Yeah. We do have enchantments that matter to Flicker. Like we've got a lot of like double exile stuff. So
Yep.
that Flicker of Fate isn't horrible to again use as our token remover.
Yeah. Got Ghostway next. 2 and a white. Remove each creature you control from the game. Return them to play under their owner's control at the end of turn.
Again, yeah, just saving us from a board wipe.
Yep.
I watched its blade swing through me. They could have just left that line there.
But I was hollow, empty. I saw its face contort in rage, but could not hear its snarl. That is what happens when you try board wipe me.
Yep.
Watch their face contort in rage as I just enter the battlefield again.
I
we've also got Justicar's Portal. 1 and a white, exile target creature control, then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. It gains first strike, which is kind of not horrible for a blocking situation. Our commander's already pretty huge. Like a 4/7 is very hard to get through already.
Yep.
So.
And then we have Lazelle's Acrobatics, 3 and a white. Exile all non-token creatures you control, then roll a d20. 1 to 9. Return those cards to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. 10 to 20. Return those cards to the battlefield under their owner's control, then exile them again. Return those cards to the battlefield under their owner's control at the beginning of the next end step.
Yeah, there's a 50-50 shot that this card's a massive problem.
Yeah.
It's rough. Because if you hit that 10 to 20, you get the immediate re-enter, and then they go back away, and then you get it again.
Yeah, you actually played that, and
but I got a 4. Womp womp.
It was a lovely 4.
Yeah, but like just again, especially you're playing this with your commander out almost always. So you're gonna get like you're getting 4 triggers of each of your things with just your commander out that way, and 4 triggers of anything is good. Like 4 triggers of Soul Warden is good per creature.
Gross.
Yeah.
We've got Long Road Home, 1 and a white. Exile target creature at the beginning of the next end step. Return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control with a +1/+1 counter on it.
This card makes me want to sing.
We got someone who commented on one of the posts. It's just like, I listened to the show and you don't play much removal. We just do my decks the most because I build the most of them. I don't play removal. They don't build like animals like me.
Yeah, I enjoyed that comment.
Yeah, therefore I replied. I was like, "What do you mean? My whole section. There's not a single destroy artifact or enchantment card in this. White's like the best for that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think I could put like a disenchant in here? A return to dust, maybe? No room. Only blink.
So then
my removal's elsewhere.
It's creature
You play
based.
player removal.
Yeah.
We have Semester's End, 3 and a white. Exile any number of target creature and or planeswalkers you control. At the beginning of the next end step, return each of them to the battlefield under its owner's control. Under its owner's control. Each of them enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it if it's a creature, and an additional loyalty counter on it if it's a planeswalker.
Yeah, another just full battlefield blink till end step. We're living through the blasphemous acts a lot of the time.
Yeah.
All right.
Need to find a way, some creative ways to get through.
It's very frustrating. That's my favorite part of this deck, is watching people try to be like, okay, well, I've got to deal with you now because you're a problem. And we're like, all right, well, let's try.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, no, it's you do have a lot of blink instance in this, but you get a lot of mana. This ramps phenomenally well for a mono white deck. I've got to be honest.
I was actually very happy with my Brago yesterday. That was amazing.
Brago did play great. We start with Angel of Serenity, the highest cost card in the deck. It's 4 triple white. When it enters, you may exile up to 3 other target creatures from the battlefield and or creatures from graveyards. And when Angel of Serenity leaves, you return the exiled cards to owner's hand. This is just great recursion for us. 6 cards from our grave back to hand in a worst case scenario, or 6 exiles.
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't consider doing it to ourselves.
6 really annoying exiles. Because everything goes back to hand when this leaves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Really, really good at clearing the board out, especially if we have like a teleportation Conjurer's Closet set up already. Like, it enters, they lose 6 creatures twice, or they lose 3 creatures twice. Teleportation Circle, they do it again. Conjurer's Closet, they do it again. Where, you're down 18 permanents off the field. Yeah. It's gross. Yeah, the next one as well. MVP card in this deck. It cannot be understated how great this card is.
Ugh.
Yeah. I'm going to talk this one too. Cavalier of Dawn. Cavalier of Dawn all day. Generally, these triple white pips are like restrictive, but we're playing mono white, so that doesn't matter. And with our next Lotus, that's like a lot of extra mana ramp.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. We've got a 4/6 Vigilance. When it enters, destroy up to 1 target non-land permanent. Its controller creates a 3/3 colorless golem artifact creature token. Man, that's rough. Oh, that's such a good card, especially like I said, like the whole point of this deck is flickers and enter the battlefield. I had a Panharmommycon out in the game for a spoiler for anyone seeing it. And let me tell you, this Cavalier of Dawn entering and taking 3 permanents away from people every enter. Oh, this was rough.
That's what did me in. Yeah,
this was rough. Yeah. It's there's my removal right there. It's a creature that I can't tutor for.
Yeah. Fair and balanced.
Please go ahead. Next one.
Yeah. Take it away.
Next up, we got Charming Prince, 1 and a white for a 2/2 human noble. When it enters the battlefield, choose 1. You can scry 2, gain 3 life, or exile another target creature you own. Return it to the battlefield under your control at the beginning of the next end step.
I wonder what you're picking.
To be honest, all of the modes are really good. Scrying 2 twice is just phenomenal if we're digging for an answer such as Cavalier of Dawn or Angel of Serenity. Again, 6 life on an enter is pretty great. Like I was playing it against the Nekusar that game, right? Yep. And we were taking heavy damage. We're talking Megrams on the field. I'm losing mana to discard. I'm drawing 15 cards a turn. I'm taking damage for those. That 6 mana ETB or 6 life ETB really goes a long way.
Logan's card was the only thing that really probably did me in to save you. The tap and ping for lands.
Oh, the mana barbs, yeah.
Yep, and then the big misplay on my at the end of the game. No, that was still the same game.
No, Logan was playing Bruna. He tried to hit me with Bruna.
Was that a different game? I thought it was the same game.
Oh no, that was a different game. But that mana barbs was also very rough.
Oh, that was when you were playing cats.
Yeah.
The
mana barbs didn't matter to me. You want this next one here, Brian?
Yeah, I'll take that next one. We got Clockwork. Where am I? Clockwork Servant, 3 colorless. It's a gnome. All right. Adamant. When Clockwork Servant enters the battlefield, if at least 3 mana of the same color was spent to cast it, draw a card, and it's a 2/3.
To be honest, one of the weaker cards in the deck, and one of the ones I'm probably gonna, because it's not gonna re-trigger. It's only if I spend 3 mana to cast, so it's not really doing what I want it to do.
No.
So maybe this is a spot to change out. I just have been having too fun slapping ETBs down to change the deck yet, minus that Helm of the Host.
I would slot this out, throw Helm of the Host back in.
Yeah.
No, too many Elesh Norns. Although it would be entertaining to see me try and redraw the Elesh Norns.
It would.
Or it would be quite the flex to just start pulling out the other artworks of Elesh Norn for all my copies. We're talking Oil Slick. We're talking normal Elesh Norn. We're talking the 9 other artworks. Yeah. Daniel, that's a different Elesh Norn. That's Grand Cenobite. That doesn't matter. It's on the field.
It's Elesh Norn.
Yeah.
I didn't say I was going to make the same one.
Yeah, exactly.
She has different personalities sometimes.
We've got Distinguished Conjurer. It's 1 and a white for a 1/2 human wizard. Whenever another creature enters under your control, you gain a life. Again, great. It's really bringing our life back up. It has 4 and a white. You exile another target creature you control, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. A great defensive and offensive ability. A great thing to save mana for. Tell your end step kind of thing if you've got like that Nyx Lotus extra mana sitting around. Because again, I see you there, Brian.
Yep.
Putting that in Brago.
It's another Soul Sister, in all honesty.
Well, and the other thing too is, like I said, just the ability to, you get that instant speed blink, right? So if somebody's dropping something down that's a problem, and I've got that mana up, right? That's potentially another ETB, like destroy, like another Rex Sage kind of situation if you're playing like multiple colors in this. Like Distinguished Conjurer, I think, is a really great card. The utility, the life gain on it alone is already pretty awesome.
I could probably throw it into Ellis as well. Blink my creature, have it come back in. I gain more life. You guys lose another round.
Well, and especially, if you've got something like a Gary kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, didn't even think about that.
Sit and blink it in. Yeah, exactly, right?
Every turn.
Yeah, you've got a lot of big mana stuff.
Yep, I'm gonna pick that up. Going to the den today.
I think this card might make its way into Abdel.
The next one?
No, the one that the Distinguished Conjurer.
It's such, especially Abdel, yeah.
We've got Eldrazi Displacer, 2 and a white for a 3/3 Eldrazi. It's got Devoid. You can pay 2 and a colorless. Exile another target creature, then return to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control.
Yeah.
Solid.
I like it. Again, we don't have a ton of colorless pips, though, so this one might also make its way out of the deck into one that's more mana rock themed. Like this one really works out well in stuff that like runs like those talismans. I play with the talismans all the time, where they've got my colors and they've also got my my colorless.
Yep.
So this one may be another cut, but again, it does put the work in for what we need.
And then next up we have Felidar Guardian, 3 and a white cat beast. When Felidar Guardian enters the battlefield, you may exile another target permanent you control, then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control.
Blink, a great blink, card blink, to, yeah, a great card to blink at my end step.
Yeah.
Blink this one with Conjurer's Closet, get 2 extra ETBs from it.
Yeah, that's gross. You don't need that many.
We've also got Fiend Hunter, 1 double white for a 1/3 human cleric. When it enters, you may exile another target creature, and when it leaves, you return that creature to the battlefield under its owner's control.
Solid.
Yep.
See, it's all the removal. It's all in the creatures.
Yeah, right. There's some in here.
We got Flicker Wisp, 1 double white for a 3/1 elemental with flying. When it enters the battlefield, exile another target permanent. Return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step.
I think it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Biblically accurate Flicker Wisp, but be not afraid, Brian.
I like that this one can hit some of your enchantments as well.
Yep. Yeah, I really like to be, like I said, I really like to be able to reset those the enchantments that exile, because they're really, really good. Yeah, Flicker Wisp was such a cool card.
I'm really happy looking over this deck, and I'm just like, I could build this. I have a majority of the cards.
Yeah, you have the Elesh Norn.
Yes.
But where will the Mox Diamond come from?
Might have to call the Bank of Dan.
The Bank of Dan's running low on those cards. We also have Glorious Protector. I wanted to talk about this one too, because I love this card. Foretell as a mechanic. We're going back to... No, it's not Call Time. It's Eldraine. Wouldn't need to go back to Call Time soon. I need more Foretell cards. It's like one of my favorite mechanics. I love just saying like these are my trap cards. I think it's hilarious. It's 2 double white for 3/4 Angel Cleric. This is great in tons of decks. Like, I love Angels as a tribe. I love Clerics as a tribe. And this is like a great enter the battlefield. It's got Flash. It's got Flying. It's got Foretell. Like, it's got it all. The triple Fs here, right? When it enters the battlefield, you can exile any number of non-angel creatures you control until it leaves the battlefield, which is, again, just a very good way. Someone's trying to get rid of my board. Here we go. We stop it. You've killed my Glorious Protector, but all you've done is now enraged my creatures who are re-entering.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you like that.
It's true.
Next card we have is Icewind Stalwart. Stalwart. 3 and a white. Tiefling Warrior. Protection Fighting Style. When Icewind Stalwart enters the battlefield, exile up to 1 target non-warrior creature you control, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. Get behind my shield.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that are reblinking our creatures. To be honest, I thought about putting an Altar of the Brood in here, but it seemed obnoxious. Like, it seemed really obnoxious.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I didn't, but just know it was in my mind.
Question for you guys. Does his shield look like the Dimir sigil?
Kinda, yeah.
It's a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, it looks just like it in my mind, even with like the little center eye in the middle.
Well, it's not bad, not bad.
Yeah.
It's weird for a white card.
Maybe they're bringing
yeah.
Maybe they're bringing the guilds to Icewind.
True.
Next up, we got Inspiring Overseer, 2 and a white for 2/1 Angel Cleric with Flying, and when it enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life and draw a card.
Oh, gross! I'm so happy that card didn't make it out.
That did make it out. That's what I was gaining life with again.
Ugh.
Yeah, gaining 2 life and drawing a card every time. Drawing 2 cards every time. This deck, by the way, also probably should run a Reliquary Tower. I have run into that trouble a lot of times. The game on YouTube, I'm playing into 2 draw decks, so
Could you say that one was a draw deck? I don't know.
I definitely could. Your point. All you do is make everyone draw. You just have.
I was talking about me.
Draw. Yeah, his was also a draw deck. He was just trying to mill.
He just had the one draw card. He just had the one.
Draw into your graveyard.
What kind of animals? No, he was playing Minds Aglow and stuff like that. Yeah. I'm basically at this point just narrating the game.
Yeah. I think this next card's yours there, Dan.
Oh, the Karmic Guide? Yeah, Karmic Guide's pretty cool. It's 3 double white. It has Flying, Protection from Black. It's 2/2. It has Echo. The beginning of your upkeep, if this came under your control since the beginning of your last upkeep, sack it unless you pay its Echo cost. That's a problem because we're constantly bringing it back. But when it enters, return target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield is pretty great. And again, a lot of times we're doing it 2-3 times. Probably going to get 6 or 7 uses out of it before we end up losing it. So,
and this, so the next card here is Knight of the White Orchard. I know with my Brago deck, these cards put in work.
So just the amount of land that you're getting with that stuff is crazy.
Yeah. So it's 2 white, Human Knight for strike. When Knight of the White Orchard enters the battlefield, if an opponent controls more land than you, you may search your library for a Plains card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Like, I think I was doing more with the next card that we have. And yeah, I outpaced everyone or outramped every other deck with my Brago deck.
I remember you talking. You're like, this is like the most land I've ever had in like a deck that didn't have green.
Yeah, I had like 8 lands and everyone's at like 4.
Well, these exactly right. This is great early game to get you quickly up to the number you need, and it's great late, like catching you back up. Getting 2 planes out of your deck is no small matter, right?
Well, I guess in your deck, you're running only planes, where with like a blue-white deck, I can actually go and find that keyword planes, which is nice to help even out my colors.
Yeah, the next one does the same thing too. Yeah, because these aren't basic planes. You can just search for a planes.
Well, you read the next one then.
We've got Core Cartographer as our next one. 3 and a white for a 2/2 Core Scout. When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for planes, put it on the battlefield tapped, then you shuffle.
Yeah.
And that one has no if an opponent has more. That's why Brian was saying he got so much value out of it, just blinking everything with Brago.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Nice.
For me, every time, that's 4 mana. This is an explosive vegetation in an Elesh Norn deck. That's repeatable.
Yeah, every turn.
Yeah, I love it. The next card, too, I'm so happy I bought every one of them that I could find on release day because I thought this was such a great card. I'll let Slothy take this one here.
Sure. So this one is Lauren of the Third Path. 2 and a white for 2/1 legendary human artificer with vigilance. When Lauren of the Third Path enters the battlefield, destroy up to 1 target artifact or enchantment, and you can tap it to have you and target opponent draw a card.
I'm in love with this card.
That's pretty good. I like that one.
It's again, we're a double ETB destroy, which is great, but we're also able to be like, listen, your card sucks and I don't like it, but all of the draws are going to be towards you. You know, like it's like, okay, Slothy, like that card's a problem for sure, but like don't worry, I'll at least let you be drawing cards with me with Lauren. So it's a little bit of a feel good, like, cause it's the same thing. I'm destroying it anyways, right? You can either be happy and accept my gift, or I can still destroy it and you can get nothing but shattered dreams.
Again, I will proposition the question: who hurt you?
If you're playing this deck, I'm gonna hold up some mana so that doesn't happen.
That's fair. That's not it's not a bad idea. Brian, you want this one?
Yeah. So the next up, we have Loyal Warhound, 1 and a white creature dog. I'm assuming that's a hobbit next to it, or sorry, halfling, or what are they in Magic? Kithkins? Vigilance. When Loyal Warhound enters the battlefield, if an opponent controls more lands than you, search your library for a basic plains card and put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle.
This is a great early card. It it catches you up so quickly. I love it. You want that 5 mana Elesh Norn out as fast as you can.
Yep.
Yeah.
What were you looking at on it, Brian?
Oh, I was just looking at the dog. It's a really drooly boy.
Fair. Sloth, do you want this next one?
Sure. Next up, we got Pilgrim's Eye. 3 mana for a 1/1 artifact creature Thopter. He's got flying, and when Pilgrim's Eye enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle.
The other thing that's really nice about all of these land ones is it's just really thinning the deck out, so we're drawing what we actually need, which is more creatures.
More land.
Right?
I'm going to call dibs on the next card.
Oh, he'll fight you. The next one is a card good enough that it could just be the other commander in the deck. You could just run this exact deck with this card, and it would still be a really fun deck. It's Preston the Vanisher, a card that also already needs a reprint when it's sitting there at $21.
Yeah.
Preston's awesome. Preston's the business. So 3 and a white. Whenever another non-token enters under your control, if it wasn't cast, create a token that's a copy of it, except it's a 0/1 white illusion. Every creature in this deck is enter the battlefield. It doesn't matter. No one cares that my token of a Angel of Serenity is a 0/1. No one cares that the Cavalier of Dawn is a 0/1. It's the fact that, like, with Preston, with it re-entering, it's going to trigger twice. So with our Elesh Norn and Preston, it triggers twice. We've got 2 destroys on deck. Then Preston triggers twice, and 2 tokens enter, and those 2 tokens trigger twice. It's disgusting. Preston is an amazing card. And then, if that wasn't enough, if that was the only thing stapled on this card, I'd be like, this is an MVP card. It's amazing. You should love it. It also has 1 in a white. You sack 5 illusions, exile target non-land permanent. Just a disgusting ability.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that's exile.
Oh, I don't. Oh, I don't at all.
Hey, we found Dan's removal again.
Yeah, exactly. Preston does really, really cool things. Every time it's been, like I said, I've played this deck a bunch of times. Every time Preston has hit the battlefield, there's been nearly no return for anyone at that point. Like, I actually, in the game we were playing, I was holding a bring creature from my graveyard card back, and Brian shuffled my graveyard back in, so I didn't get Preston, and it broke my heart.
Good.
I wanted
the rabbit trap.
so badly, Brian. Yeah, no, Preston, I just can't say enough good things about. It's so fun, even without the double triggers from Elesh Norn, just as its own individual blink deck is such a cool card, and I really want to build Preston as its own deck at some point.
Yeah.
I just think it's such a cool. That's where I would put a Mondrak, Brian.
Yeah.
That's,
give me that Mondrak though.
No, that's my Mondrak. The Oil Slick Mondrak. Yeah, no, Preston, amazing card. Super fun.
And then we have Priest of the Ancient Lore. 2 and a white dwarf cleric. When Priest of the Ancient Lore enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life and draw a card. Or gain 2 life, draw 2 cards.
Yeah.
Or 3. Or 4.
Destroy your whole deck.
Yeah.
Then we got Rescuer Chwinga. 1 and a white for a 2/2 elemental spirit with flash and natural shelter. When Rescuer Chwinga enters the battlefield, you may return another permanent you control to its owner's hand.
What is
just
this
a
thing?
Great emergency save of something. I love that it's permanent because a lot of my stuff exiles my creatures. I've got a lot of ways to protect and bounce it, but my Panharmommycon is a removal target for sure.
Yeah.
I love this artwork too. I think it's very cool.
This reminds me of like Daffy Duck and Bugs Bunny when they go with Marvin the Martian and they have like the aliens. That's what they remind me of.
This reminds me of the hairstyle of most guys 4 years ago.
Man bun?
Yeah.
That top bun, yeah.
Dark times.
Dark times indeed, right? We've got
you
Restoration
being mean,
Angel.
but like 2 weeks ago?
Huh? That was you 2 weeks ago? Your hair looks great, short friend.
I look so round.
We've got Restoration Angel, 3 and a white. It's a 3/4 angel flash flying. When it enters, you can exile target non-angel creature you control, then return that card to the battlefield under your owner's control. Thankfully, again, great protection for Elesh Norn. Elesh Norn's an angel in my heart, but not on the card, so this saves it. I, shockingly, by the way, have never had to recast Elesh Norn. Once it hits the battlefield, no one has successfully removed it.
Nice.
It's just so annoying to try and remove.
Truth.
I love it. Where's the lie?
Next up, wait a minute. Oh yeah, Roving Harper, 2 and a white for an elf scout. When Roving Harper enters the battlefield, draw a card for a 2/2.
Not bad.
No, that's just I've never seen so much white card draw. Who knew?
Yeah. Baldur's Gate was a good set for that, apparently.
Yeah, they really keep trying to push it, almost as if they think it really needs help, and it doesn't. And when you give it help, you lead to Elesh Norn. You lead to the double Panharmommycon decks.
See, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's not the first double Panharmommycon commander they've printed.
That's
good,
true.
clean
Yarok
fun.
was great. And Yarok's problematic in 3 colors.
I've actually been thinking about putting my Yarok deck back together.
I wanted to build Yarok really, really badly when it came out, just as a quick aside. And then one of our friends, Matt, he built a Yarok deck, and I literally could not have thought of a better way to build it. I thought that deck was just built perfect, and I just didn't want to build the same deck as him. So I didn't end up building it. It put in such work with just the Fairy Artisans, with like the Risen Reefs, all that stuff. Like it was such a cool card. Field of the Dead, like you get your double ones.
Yeah.
I should build a Yarok deck. What are we talking about?
Man, that elemental put in work in his travel deck too.
Yeah, right.
That card just puts in work wherever it goes.
Next up, we got Rumor Gatherer, 1 double white for a 2/1 elf wizard with Alliance. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, scry 1. If this is the second time this ability is resolved this turn, draw a card instead.
I'm sorry, are these miniature animals? I want a mini giraffe.
Right.
Where's our house hippo here?
I gave Brian when we were building Brago, there was another one from New Capenna, and it was whenever creature enters or something enters, whenever it enters, you get a 1/1 blue thing that counters. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
What's the card I'm thinking?
Oh, I'd have to go searching through my boxes.
All right, you guys take the next card. I'm gonna read this one.
So next up we have Scholar of the New Horizon, 1 and a white. Human Scout, Scholar of New Horizon, enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it. Tap it. Remove a counter from a permanent you control. Search your library for a Plains card and reveal it. If an opponent controls more lands than you, you may put that card onto the battlefield tapped. If you don't put that card onto the battlefield, put it into your hand, then shuffle.
That is a great card. I found it. It's Mage's Attendant. Mage's Attendant is a card that should slot into this deck, and I think that's what I'm going to take it out for that Adamant thing. The Mage's Attendant, that's when it enters, you create a 1/1 blue wizard creature token with pay 1, sack it, counter target non-creature spell unless its controller pays 1. That's just a phenomenal card to be able to have on deck.
Yeah, that'd be really good in this deck.
Yeah, it's token generation. So definitely run something like that. That's be better than me. Do you want to take this next one here, Slothy?
Sure.
He wants his boy.
Oh no, I'll take this next one. I'll let you have the boy. Scouting Hawk, 2 and a white for a 1/1 flying bird with keen sight. When it enters the battlefield, if opponent controls more lands than you, search your library for basic plane, put it in tapped, then shuffle. Again, just a good early catch-up card.
Yeah.
You're not keeping a 1-land hand in this, so.
Yeah. No. Next up, we got Skrelv Defector Might. Single white for a 1/1 legendary artifact creature, Phyrexian Might with Toxic 1. Skrelv can't block. You can pay Phyrexian White and tap. Choose a color. Another target creature you control gains Toxic 1 and Hexproof from that color until end of turn. It can't be blocked by creatures of that color this turn. I love Skrelv so much.
Skrelv's amazing, and technically it makes it so that Phyrexian Atlas does work. We could technically get the thing
corrupted.
Out. Yeah.
Technically.
Right? It'll just take multiple turns, a different creature, monocolored decks that can't block us, having the altar out.
And asking nicely if you can get your attacks through.
But we'll get there.
Then we have Solemn Simulacrum, the sad robot, for colorless. Golem, when Solemn Simulacrum enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic land card, put that card onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. When Solemn Simulacrum dies, you may draw a card. That's just being blinked for a whole lot of land.
Yeah.
The next card does work. We've got Solitude, 3 double white for an elemental incarnation, 3/2 with flash, with lifelink. When it enters, you exile up to one other target creature. That creature's controller gains life equal to its power, and it has Evoke, exile a white card from your hand. And Evoke is a triggered ability that it enters. So it's when it enters for that, you sacrifice it, and you can respond to that ability. So, like for instance, with like Mirror of Life Trapping, if you Solitude with Mirror of Life Trapping out, you just stack your triggers. Solitude actually goes under Mirror of Life Trapping. No sacrifice happens. Everyone's happy, minus the person who loses 3 of their permanents.
Yeah, fair.
It's technically group hug. I'm helping people gain life. Right?
Oh.
Everything's technically group hug in this.
Next up, we've got Soul Warden, single white for a 1/1 human cleric. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life.
Hey, soul sister.
This puts in work, puts in a shocking amount of work. You gain, like, a lot of times, you're gaining 2 or 3 life every time anyone's creature enters. A lot of decks can't outpace that, especially, like, if you're trying to kill me with Scoot Swarms, right? If I'm gaining, like, 3 life for every one you have enter.
But even before you start going into those hypotheticals, let's just cover that next card, Soul's Attendant.
Same thing, yeah. Soul's Attendant, yeah, just the same thing, but for more money.
And then their final form.
No, like I said, the Soul's Attendant is just such a cool card.
I love the Soul Sisters. I even the green one.
Yeah. They, like I said, they're not really offensive in this deck, but they do so much that, like, not including them at a 1-drop is crazy.
Well, support, right?
Right, yeah.
Can't win your league games without a good support, Dan.
Can't win them with a good support. We also have a Suture Priest, which is a really cool card. It's 1 and a white for a 1/1 cleric. Whenever another creature enters under our control, we may gain a life. And whenever a creature enters under an opponent's control, you may have that player lose 1 life. Their creature entering isn't causing something they control to trigger. It triggers twice. So every time they have something enter, we can make them lose 2 life. Is so cool.
I don't like it.
I love it.
Then we have Wall of Omens, 1 and a white. Wall Defender. When Wall of Omen enters the battlefield, draw a card, and it is a 0/4.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong.
And then we end the list off with what, Slothy?
Rounding it out, we got Welcoming Vampire, 2 and a white for 2/3 vampire with flying. Whenever 1 or more creatures with power 2 or less enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card, and this ability triggers only once each turn.
I love it.
Yeah, pretty good.
Welcome to the jungle.
That is my Elesh Norn deck.
I like it.
It's been really, really fun to play. Like, it's one of the ones that I'm gonna constantly keep out as a playstyle deck. Like, I really, really enjoy Enter the Battlefield, right? And the moment I saw this, from the artwork, from the ability, from the lore standpoint, it had to be built.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, not from the art.
I said the artwork.
Oh, sorry. Blanking
My
out.
favorite artwork in the game. I love it. I want to get a huge print of it. The complete version comes with, like, a little one, and I'll probably get the little one, like, even a little frame for the little one. But I would love to, right in that background there, I would love to have a big Junji Ito Elesh Norn. It's such cool artwork.
Every time you turn your camera on, you're gonna scare yourself.
There's
I'm gonna be completed finally.
There, you can definitely, like, I was gonna say you can, like, slim this budget down pretty
by 1 card
aggressively. Well, but even when you look at it that way, you're really slimming down $600 of $1,200, so it's not that slimmed down. There's
pretty slimmed down.
In fairness as well, like, Commander's $150, so just don't play the $150 version.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But no, I've had just a ton of fun playing this. I don't think anyone's been too salty with me playing it. Brian, you've seen it a few games. Like, is it?
I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's not salty. I think it makes, like, a bunch of cool interactions kind of thing. It's funny to see people hose their own cards when they try, like Temple of Silence to get that scry off, and they get no scry off.
Yeah, it's really, that's a feel bad. But
this one hard shuts down landfall decks, which is awesome. Landfall decks sometimes need it.
No, I agree with that one.
Yeah, a better version of this deck would include actual removal and a more robust instance and sorcery section. Like, it's pretty focused on just the value of my Enter the Battlefields, as opposed to, like, answers. A lot of my answers are stitched into the creatures, but again, you could slim this creature list down pretty aggressively. Like, you could bring it down to 26 and, you know, like, put 8 more instant sorceries in the deck and really round it out to a solid deck. I just find this fits my playstyle the most.
Like, if it was me, I'd add the swords, plowshares, the white disenchant, the 4-drop one. It's
Return to Dust.
Yeah, Return to Dust.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's like I said, there's lots you could take out. There's a few I already mentioned, and again, that Mage's Attendant should go right into the deck.
Mm-hmm.
I need to make sure I put one of those in here. Yeah, I don't know. I like this deck. That's all I got to say on it.
No, I liked playing against it. It like the only feel bad that I had was when I pulled my new Atraxa and I couldn't drop it because
that was hilarious. Yeah,
I couldn't get the trigger.
With how a lot of decks are going right now, a Sun Cleanser would be really good in this too. Being able to strip counters off players and creatures would be a great ETB effect.
Yep.
But it's again, that really depends on your play group of what you're seeing. I'm seeing a lot more of the toxic kind of decks, which I actually like as a mechanic a lot. I didn't like that Brian took my lands with it again. It's hurtful. It was hurtful for sure, but no, this is my deck. I love this deck. This is my deck. It was made for me.
Yeah, you went right out. Yeah.
If anyone understands the Junji Ito references, yeah, that's it. I'm done talking. If you like the content, come to there. Check out our streams. We have a lot of fun playing. We had like a 5-hour one Saturday for everyone coming out, and for on the weekend last week. It was super fun. This week's episode will be the Elesh Norn, so you'll get to see a little bit of the enter the battlefield in play kind of thing. Stop in, let us know what you think. Thanks a ton for everyone who's come and given us those ratings lately. It means a lot. The liking and sharing is the best way you can support this, really. If you want to further support it, check us out on Patreon. We've got a lot of great ideas coming up with that. We've got a really, really great group already that talks lots of like deck building ideas. So super fun to interact with everyone in it. So yeah, if you guys are interested in that, check that out. Brian has another podcast. Brian?
Yes, I have my other podcast, Tavern Banter, where we talk all things D&D. Make sure to check it out if you enjoy anything that's Dungeons and Dragons related.
Yeah. And yeah, other than that, just have a great weekend and stuff. I appreciate everyone coming out every time, and I'm hoping to get some more Slothy games in, because Slothy's also great to play with. He actually plays removal, so.
Yeah, hoping to get out soon.
His degenerate instance, what?
Yeah. Instance.
The whole deck. Yeah, that's where we'll end it. Thanks again, everyone. And yeah, again, if you haven't already, you should, because we're great, and we do love to see the comments and stuff. So yeah, thanks everyone. Bye-bye.
Peace, guys.
See ya.